Hi everybody and welcome back to Crafted by Corie. If you are returning, thank you so much for being here. You all mean the world to me and I cannot express to you how much I appreciate your support. If you are new, welcome. I'm Corie. Thank you so much for being here. I have my minis challenge today. So lots of little minis to share with you for your tiered trays or other little decor. I hope that you get lots of inspiration. If you do, please be sure to give me a big thumbs up and leave me a comment because it really does help my channel to grow. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and get right on into it. Oh, and there's going to be a whole playlist of minis. I'll talk about that in a little bit.
DIY number 1. For this project, I have this cute little box, I'm going to call it, from my sweet subscriber, Rose. I guess it's kind of like a shadow box frame thing, maybe. I don't know. Pretty versatile. But I was taking off that little label and I am painting it with some of my black chalk paint. And as I was doing that, I realized I hadn't taken off this little metal doodad. I don't know what you would call that. It's like a label holder, something or other. I don't know, embellishment. But I went ahead and took that off. I did not bother to fill in those holes. The paint actually did cover it up pretty well. If you want to be a little bit more perfect with it, you could fill this in with spackle and then sand it and paint it. I did not take the time to do that this time, but I did pull out my Joy and I'm running into the Cricut app right here. You can see I'm using it on my phone and I am looking for something for New Year's because my theme for this minis challenge, it was anything goes, but I decided to do New Year's in celebration for the upcoming new year. And I had seen something online that inspired me to do a little sign with "Kiss Me at Midnight." So I did find something that was already in the Cricut design space, completely designed for me, and I am just adjusting it a little bit there with my app so that I can get it to the right size. You saw me measuring my little tray, for lack of a better term. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. And I love this because it shows you exactly what it's going to cut with each of the different colors. It shows you which color it's doing at each time. And you can certainly use whatever colors you choose to use. It had a little update it wanted to do, and then I was off and running. So connected my Joy. I let it know that I was using smart vinyl, which does not require a mat. It will run right into the machine. So you can see it here. It's cutting out my black. More on that in just a second because I'm sure a lot of you have already realized what it took me a minute to realize. And then I cut out my red and my silver. And here I am looking at the black, getting ready to weed it. And I'm like, Corie, your background is black. Why do you have black to put on black? So I grabbed a little scrap piece of gold. And if you're ever wondering why I'm keeping all these little scraps, this is exactly a case in point why I keep my scraps. And some of you might be noticing my jewelry. I actually had gone into the office that day. It was my first day back into the office since everything that's been going on for my day job. But at any rate, I went ahead and recut on the gold, that little piece. And so see, that's why I keep all those little scraps. Those mats are fantastic. You can line it up exactly like you need it. And so of course I'm keeping that leftover piece that I just cut off in case I ever need a little piece like that again. And I am gonna go ahead and I'm gonna trim off some of the excess vinyl from my red and my silver. Makes it look like a funny shape, but hey, it works for me. I did not use registration marks with this. I probably should start doing that, and I can show you all how to do that if you don't already know. But it just helps line up your designs. I did not do that. I eyeballed it. Honestly, it didn't occur to me until I was starting to put it together. I was like, oh, you should have done that, but I didn't. So I salvaged extra vinyl instead. So I've got it all weeded out here, and I'm just kind of looking at how it's going to be pieced together. I grabbed a piece of transfer tape that was going to be larger than all of my vinyl pieces combined, and that's really important because you want to make sure that you can pick all of it up together. So I am removing all the backings off of here. I'm doing these one at a time. I did use the back of the transfer tape film to just make sure that that was adhered really nicely. I'm looking at the image on my phone again just to make sure I know how to put this together. I'm going to use a little bit of tape on the back of this to keep it in place so it's not popping up or moving on me as I'm trying to yeah, like I was trying to avoid there, right? But just trying to keep it still while I try to line all of this up. And again, I'm just kind of eyeballing it. If you used registration marks, those are basically little marks that you would have on each of the vinyl pieces that you would then be able to line up. If you have interest in seeing how I do that, go ahead and leave me a comment and I will make sure I incorporate it into a future video. But I'm just starting, I started out with my silver, as you saw. I added my red, and now I'm gonna add in my little gold piece. I'm gonna go ahead and add some tape to the back of that one as well so that it doesn't move on me. And I'm gonna go ahead and line it up. And I'm making sure that the backing for my transfer tape is behind it so that my vinyl doesn't end up sticking to my table surface, right, as I'm applying all of these. And then I'm also using that to kind of protect it as I'm removing the extra backing so that I can put my hand on it and not mess up my design. All right, so once I've got it all together, I'm going to transfer it over onto my box, which is now completely dry. I'm just gonna line that all up, make sure it looks centered, and once I have it where I want it, I'm gonna burnish it really well. Just make sure that everything is nice and rubbed down and adhered, and then I can go ahead and peel back my transfer tape. And voila, there it is. I think this is adorable. Let me know what you think. So as I mentioned earlier, today is the Minis Challenge, and we have an entire playlist full of inspiration. The link is in my description box. I hope you'll go and check it out and give all the crafters lots of love. And if you're a crafter and would like to join us next month, it'll be January 21st for Valentine's Day. DIY number 2. So starting out with these champagne flutes, I have some rubbing alcohol here that I am just going to use with a paper towel to wipe down my glasses really well. And I'm back in the Cricut app again, and I'm going into the texting mode. I'm selecting a font. I am trying to remember what it was. I will show you in just a second what that font was, so bear with me. But I was looking at a couple of different fonts. I was messing with it and trying to put my letters together the way that I wanted them. And this one wasn't really doing it for me. So I went back in. I did mess with it for a little while. Eventually, I came to the conclusion that I liked this font the most. So I went ahead and I doubled it because I have 2 glasses. And now I'm going to go back in and do more text, and I'm looking for the font. It was Quirky Script. That's what it was. I'm using the same font again, Quirky Script, and I am going to be creating a different decal for another project that I'll show you in a few minutes, but I wanted to just cut them both at the same time, or cut them all at the same time. So I went ahead and got this one set up as well. It's cheers to the new year. I moved all of my letters closer together, and now I'm moving my lines closer together. This app is fantastic. It makes it so easy. You saw I was able to center everything. Now I've got it ready to cut. I'm going to be using my smart vinyl again and just running it right through my Cricut Joy, and it's going to cut all of that out for me. So then I go ahead and I weed everything, and that's basically just removing the vinyl that you are not going to use. So for this particular project, I am taking away the actual letters because I'm going to use these as stencils, or so I thought. Never a dull moment when you're crafting, right? And there always is usually a plan B, possibly a plan C or D. But once I had these all weeded, I went ahead and got them onto my transfer tape. And then I was able to go ahead and apply them to my glasses. And I did them on a little bit of an angle, and I did that purposely because I didn't want to have to worry about them being completely straight. And so this way it was a little fun, a little quirky, and I didn't have to worry if it wasn't, you know, perfect, so to speak. So I went ahead and made sure those were all smoothed down using my little burnishing tool there. And then I pulled out this sparkle paint. Now I thought this was going to be an opaque silver paint with a glimmer to it. I started applying it here and I realized it was completely transparent. It's basically just like almost a clear paint that has glitter in it, and that just wasn't going to work. So I went ahead with some black paint. These are my folk art paints by Plaid, and I went over it with the black, and then I went back over it with the glitter. Now, this is where plan B had to come in because it did not work. It just wasn't sticking to the glass. Now, the paints that I used supposedly are meant to be used on glass, but when I pulled up my stencil, it pulled pretty much half of the paint up with it. So back with the rubbing alcohol, and I am cleaning off my glasses. So once I had that all off, I came in with my Sharpie paint markers. These are oil-based paint markers. I believe I got them at Michael's a while back. And yes, I am going to hand letter these, you guys. I wasn't sure how these were going to come out. Writing on glass, for me, is a little bit of a challenge, but I was actually pretty pleased with my end results. So I had come through, and then I'm coming back in and doing the faux calligraphy trick on it. And thank you so much for all of the feedback on my ask as to whether you would be interested in seeing a hand lettering tutorial. So I have heard you. It is on my list to do, so I will make sure I get that done. Now, if hand lettering is a little bit too intimidating for you right now, all I'm doing right now is a whole lot of little dots all over the bottom half of the glass, like it's champagne in my flute, like little bubbles, right? Anybody can make dots. So if you want to skip the celebrate part and not do the lettering, you can still decorate these flutes by just adding lots of little bubbles, and you can make it whatever color you want. Now at the base there of the glass part at the top of the stem, I'm just putting a little stripe. You don't have to do that. You could decorate these however you want. You could put little hearts all over your glasses. And now I'm just trimming the bottom edge of the, what do you call that? It's the base of the glass. And now my second glass I did in silver, and I'm doing the exact same thing, but I'm doing it in silver. But my point is, you can make these whatever color you want. You can make these, you know, with all different designs. Use your imagination, but they'd make a super cute gift as well. Let me know what you think. DIY number 3. So here is the vinyl that we cut out before with the Celebrate stencils that kind of failed, but I'm going ahead and I am weeding all of this out, and I'm going to transfer this onto this cute little bucket that I've had in my stash forever. I'm honestly not sure where I got it from. It might be Dollar Tree, but for some reason I feel like my sister might have given it to me. I could be wrong. I'm not sure where it came from, but I am adhering it here, and I adhered the top part and then I adhered the bottom part on the edges just because this is tapered and it made it a little bit more difficult to lay flat. I'm just using some plastic garbage or shopping bags. So there we go. And then using these awesome little crystals that my sweet subscriber Rose sent to me. Thank you again, Rose. This is my fake ice. I got my little ice bucket for my party, right? So I love this. Let me know what you think. And now it's time for a shout out timeout. Beautiful, Robin. This is so pretty. Makes my heart happy. And cute Kathy. Look at how adorable the little snowman and gingerbread is. And great Carmen. You guys know I love gnomes. And look at that little reindeer. And pretty Iona. This is her beautiful tree all decorated. And nice Selena. You have been busy. Thank you all so much for sharing your projects with us. I would love to give you a shout out as well. If you have interest, please send me an email at craftedbycorie@gmail.com. DIY number 4. All right, so I got a bunch of scrapbook paper. At first I thought I wanted to use the stripes, and then I decided it'd be really hard to line those up. So I'm going with a couple of pieces of paper that have polka dots, and then this other one that's almost like galvanized. I'm gonna show you a little hack. This is one of my little spatulas. I'm just creasing the edge really well and then using the side of it to tear my paper rather than cutting it. That way I know I have a super straight line. So now I'm going to create a little cone, and this took me back to my much younger days. When I was a little girl, I used to love making hats like this, but they were princess hats, and I used my mom's sheer scarves, and I would tie a little knot in the scarf and poke it up through the top of the hat and let it cascade down, and I just thought I was a pretty princess. Oh my gosh. But anyway, I'm using double-sided tape to secure this, as you saw, and then trimming off the excess. And this is something fun you can do with the kids too, if if you have the inclination. But I did the same thing with the other sheets of paper, and now I have little chenille stems, but these are sparkly chenille stems, and I'm tying a little knot in the bottom of it and doing similar to what I used to do with mom's scarves. And I started wrapping around my fingers. I did not like the shape of that, so I grabbed my Sharpie marker and I twirled it around that. I just wanted to have something fun at the top, but I didn't want to make pom-poms. You certainly can make pom-poms and put those on. You can use store-bought pom-poms. Decorate these however you would like. Now this is some tinsel, also from my sweet subscriber Rose, my sweet friend. So I'm attaching that to the bottom of each of these hats with some hot glue, just a small bead of hot glue. Just be careful not to burn yourself. I probably should have on my finger protectors that Sarah sent me, but I was being careful. Then trimmed it off with my wire cutters, and there it is. And I did the same thing with the other 2 hats. And you can make these even smaller if you wanted to, but I think these are super cute and fun. DIY number 5. Okay, I have dice from the dollar store and my white Adirondack paint. I've had these in my stash for a while. I'm excited to be doing something with them. There we are. They are nice and white. And now I'm just using a black Sharpie. Now you could use stamps, you could use stickers, you could use a vinyl cutter if you have one. I had thought I was going to use stickers, and then I couldn't find the right kind for what I wanted to do, so I ended up drawing it on. It is not perfect, but I think it's whimsical and fun. So I've got my 2, my 0. I'm going to do 2 more 2s because we are coming into 2022. Can you believe it? What a crazy year we've all had. And we thought 2020 was interesting, right? Oh, so here is to 2022. Let's hope for some better news, better days ahead. But here it is. Let me know what you think. And here we are with the final reveal.
Okay, everybody, that's it for today. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you. If you enjoyed the project, so please be sure to give me a big thumbs up and leave me a comment because it really does help my channel to grow. Remember that this is part of a playlist for the Crafted by Corie Minis Challenge. There is an entire group of fantastic crafters who are participating today. So you want to check out that link that is down in my description box and go send them some love. All right, everyone, I will have an update out for my channel this coming Sunday. I know a lot of you have been asking about the latest and what's happening, and I appreciate all of that support. So one way or another, I will provide an update this Sunday. So I hope you'll tune in then. But until the next time, be well, be kind, and make it a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Take good care. Bye.